Hello Aries and welcome to your January 2021 forecast. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you want to ascend above your zodiac sign and discover what year 2021 will mean for you personally, please see beneath this video. You can order your 12-month forecast, character analysis, get 30% off, but gain a really in-depth, detailed understanding of how the planetary activities this year will impact on your natal situation. So this goes beyond just being a sun or ascendant Aries. But as we begin this new year, we need to look at where the planets are. And the Sun, as usual, is in the sign of Capricorn, which for you can see you setting your intentions for this new year around ambitions. But of course, because the planet which governs Capricorn over the last couple of years at the turn of the year has been in Capricorn, there's been a great sense of responsibility in terms of setting those intentions, or perhaps you felt a real desire to manifest your goals and create a success for yourself, which is entirely understandable. Because Jupiter, the planet of growth, was locked into Capricorn 2 last year, and this year is going to be in two zodiac signs, firstly Aquarius, then into Pisces, back into Aquarius, and for the last few days of 21 back into Pisces. Now for you, the January transit of Jupiter is in the sign of Aquarius, which is about friendship, it's about your future. Jupiter's about expansion, it's about hope. So there's a lot to be hopeful about. Also, Saturn continues to be co-present with Jupiter and is in the sign of Aquarius too, which it is the co-regent of. And this is asking you to think seriously about what you want from your future, but also the quality of your relationships. And right through this month, Uranus, the planet of surprises, which is in your sector of resources, is actually clashing with Jupiter and also with Saturn from about halfway through the month. Once Uranus goes into direct motion on the 14th, it inches into a right angle with Saturn. So that's something we need to be mindful of. So I feel that one of the things that's going to come up this month for you is becoming much more conscious of who is or who are the people you can really rely upon in terms of your friendship group, in terms of your close associations, but also if you're thinking about your future, is it working for you in terms of a financial incentive? Or is it working for you in terms of your values? So whatever you're doing in terms of earning money, I feel that you're going to feel a much greater need to make it a bit more idealistic, quite honestly, not just so materially orientated. Also, at the turn of the year, Saturn and the Moon are in opposition. And the Moon's in the glorious 5th house in the sign of Leo, which for you is very much about pleasures, it's about joyfulness, about creativity. So again, because it's going across the 5th, 11th house axis, I think this points towards if there are people in your world who don't bring you much joy, even if you have invested an awful lot of your time into that relationship, this can see you thinking very carefully about their value to you. But at the turn of the year, we have a glorious fire trine between Chiron, the wounded healer, in your sign, the Moon in Leo, and also Juno, which is going to be in the sign of Sagittarius. So this fire grand trine is wonderful, you know, if you can just be conscious of the more censorious notes that Saturn brings to your situation. Essentially, it's saying that you can take the initiative around relationships and you can try to find a glorious output for your talents, but it has to be with people or investing in a situation that really is going to engage you for that longer term. So short-term gain is going to be much less attractive to you. However, Mars, your ruler, is in your sign as we begin this year. It's going to be switching on the 7th into the sign of Taurus. Now, of course, then it's going to meet up with Uranus. So there's going to be a potential surprise around the 18th or 19th, a chance to earn money, but there could be a sudden expense. But don't worry, I think it can be something where you gain something back. So your more entrepreneurial instincts can be emphasized by that. But what I would say is that Venus forges a beautiful link with Mars at the turn of the year. So if you're wanting to improve your love life in 2021, that's an awesome planetary alliance to help guide your situation. But Venus also squares up with Neptune. Neptune, the planet of dreams, locked away in your 12th solar house. This can be about endings, it can be about reflections, it can be about our subconscious, but it is also about sensitivities and potentially, and I must say potentially, secret enemies. Whereas Venus is in the part of your horoscope that's to do with discovery, with truth. And having Venus in Sagittarius, in that beautiful trine with your ruler Mars, is giving you loads of sex appeal. But whatever happens this year, and particularly this month around your love life, I feel it needs to feel right to you. I feel astrologers and people in general tend to underestimate the quality of Aries people. I feel you're much more instinctive than people realise. People say that you pile into situations without thinking, that you tend to be quite impetuous, and because of that you sort of end up coming into situations where you might it doesn't work out, but you'll give it a go and it doesn't work. Well, actually, I think a lot of what you do is because your instincts are actually really very good a lot of the time. But what Neptune's been doing since 2012 is at times diluting and distorting your ability to rely on your sixth sense. And it may have seen you over the last couple of years actually doubting whether your instincts are as accurate as they could be. But I do feel, as far as your love life is concerned, there is a glorious opportunity this year, but it is definitely important to always follow the premise of how does it feel. Do not go against that, because Venus square Neptune is really trickster central when it comes to your love life. It's also possible you might be thinking of how you could perhaps travel more. I think all of us will be doing that, won't we, as we start this year. So getting away from it all, some form of escapism can really appeal to you for this month as Venus squares up with Neptune. Now, I'm sorry I'm wearing glasses. My eyes are actually getting a little worse. But on the 7th, Mars moves into Taurus. So if there are still those worldly things you need to work on, Mars moving into that area can help you. And so, embrace that. That is about you applying for those jobs, taking a leading role, being very charismatic in your approach to situations. On the 8th, Mercury moves into Aquarius, where it is also exalted, and Venus moves into Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn is seriously sensual, as is Mars. People who have Mars in Capricorn in their natal horoscopes have a real appreciation of sensuality. Earthy Capricorn. It's probably like luxurious sheets and staying in posh hotels for weekends, perhaps even naughty weekends. But this combination move is interesting because what we've therefore got is a semi-sextile between the pair of them, between Mercury and Venus. And for you, Mercury in Aquarius is about kinship. It's about how you connect with others. So can be through social media, can be just through your desire to raise your vibration in terms of how you connect with people in general. But having Venus in the 10th house suggests that some of your connections can be on a professional basis. And I would say, therefore, it's as much as who you know as what you know in terms of driving forward your success. So on the 13th, Aries, we have this amazing new moon in Capricorn, which is going to be conjunct Pluto. You're talking about power central. So there's a pivot here back towards perhaps the themes of the last couple of years about really being successful, finding your place in life, receiving acclaim, raising your profile. But there could be a transition that's going on because there is that 11th house energy coming from Jupiter and Saturn, which is asking you to be much more mindful of not just what you have and what you attain. It's much more what it's worth. So interesting pivot there for you. Now, on January the 19th, so particularly early this year, the sun doesn't go at quite the same speed each year. The sun moves into Aquarius. So on the 19th, just at that point when Mars and Uranus come together in a conjunction. And so really fascinating stuff. We also have Mercury in Aquarius, of course. That is from the 8th. Mercury actually goes into retrograde on the 30th. And the wonderful thing about the 3 retrogrades this year is they're all exclusively in air signs. If you go back to last year, there was 3 that started in water signs, but 2 reversed into air signs in Gemini and also Libra. But if we think about what last year was like in terms of communication, especially from governmental communication, it was a muddle puddle, to say the least. It was wet, it was misty, there wasn't much clarity. So even though we do have this retrograde coming at the end of the month, I think it's going to be a much more grievous set, a much less grievous set of retrogrades than last year. But anyway, I digress. So the sun moving into the sign of Aquarius is once more making you think about friendship, kinship, fraternity, community, connections with others, collaboration, cooperation, all this good stuff. And then, of course, the sun is going to be alongside the energies of Saturn and therefore broadly squaring up to Uranus. So that's in week 4 of this month. So it's asking you to really think very, very seriously about those associations. So I think in summary, you are going to find yourself wanting to flex from the impact of COVID. You're wanting to find the truth of your relationships a lot more. You're wanting to find a greater purity around your friendships. It's not just about success in the traditional sense, although there may still be an absolute need to pay the bills, pay, your rent or the mortgage. And so there's still going to be a certain coexistence between those 2 principles. But I think as this month draws to a close, you are being asked, you're reminded again, particularly with the Leo full moon, which is actually squaring up with Uranus, that's on the 28th, that it's not just about what we own, it's not just about what we earn, it's not just about the car we drive, the amount of money we make. It is about how valuable that is in other non-material ways. So it's a fascinating month, and of course Saturn and Jupiter being in Aquarius, I do think is for most Aries people a really good thing. It is trying to find a balance between the material and a sense of the worth in a more noble way, which is what the sign of Aquarius is about. But there's going to be some interesting journeying within the mix, and certainly that Capricorn energy doesn't just disappear, it doesn't just dissipate, it's still there. But I think your love life is looking really hopeful for 2021 as long as you listen to that 6th sense. So, been a real pleasure being with you. Of course, stay safe. Please check out that special offer for your personal horoscope by clicking the link below. But for now, take care, goodbye, and good luck.
Thank you.